The ACC football champion Clemson Tigers are just over 48 hours away from their college football playoff semifinal. The basketball Tigers are across the street at Littlejohn Coliseum, ready to open season number 65 in the ACC. Today, 11-1 Clemson welcomes NC State in the first full weekend of ACC basketball. And we've got it for you next. Well, we're getting ready to turn the calendar from 2017 to 2018, so that means it's time to open conference play in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And we welcome you to the Upstate and Littlejohn Coliseum for ACC College Hoops on this first full weekend of conference play as the Tigers welcome the Wolfpack. Always great to be with Dan Bonner. West Durham, welcome to our coverage. Clemson is off to an 11-1 start for the 12th time in history, Dan, and they're getting a great lift from Marquise Reed, their leading scorer.
Well, Marquise Reed is the guy, Wes, when he first came in, everybody said, well, this is a guy who's wired to score, and he certainly has demonstrated that he can score in a variety of different ways. First of all, he's great at taking the ball to the basket. He gets to the free throw line. He can score in traffic. This is a perfect example of it. He just puts the ball down. He can knife through the defense. He's one of those guys who's hard to guard, but he's more than just a guy who drives the ball to the basket. He's also a very effective three-point shooter, and not only can he shoot it from outside, but once he gets to the line, he's deadly from the line. A particularly tough offensive matchup.
Well, when the Tigers face the Wolfpack of NC State today, Kevin Keats makes his debut in the ACC as their head coach, and Al Freeman makes his debut in conference play, a grad transfer from Baylor.
And he played on a very high level on some pretty good Baylor teams, but his offense has gone to another level this year. Very aggressive offensive player, takes a lot of shots, makes a lot of shots. He's a critical piece to this NC State puzzle.
Wolfpack has won 2 straight and 5 of their last 7, leading into their conference opener today. And the Tigers, of course, riding the senior Dante Grantham as well. We'll have the lineups and first half for you when we come back to Littlejohn Coliseum after this. We welcome you back to Littlejohn Coliseum. NC State Clemson played twice within a 6-day period last March. There are only 2 meetings a season ago. And here are the lineups for conference game number 1 for both schools. And Abdul Malik Abu gives Kevin Keats an inside presence in his return to their lineup, Dan.
Well, with those 2 big guys, Abu and Yurt 7, they have really solid, skilled inside players. That'll be tough matchups in there for the Clemson Tigers.
Keep an eye on Torrin Dorn Jr. as well. The junior from Charlotte, the Wolfpack's leading rebounder at almost 8 a game. Thomas and Yurt 7 get us underway with Roger Ayers, James Breeding, and Raymond Steins on the whistle here at Tiger Town this afternoon.
Pack opens in the man-to-man. Dorn is matched up against Reed.
Thomas defended well at the post by Yurt 7. Here is Braxton Beverly. Remember, Markel Johnson suspended indefinitely for violation of the student-athlete code of conduct stemming from a police situation in his hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. Yurt 7 missed everything. DeVoe, the deflected rebound. Grantham. This is Shelton Mitchell. And Dorn the rebound. State wants a lot of tempo, don't they, Dan?
State would like to push the ball up and down the court. Here's Freeman with the 3, and he misses that. State actually gets only about 25% of their points from beyond the three-point arc, so they want to attack the basket. And there's somebody attacking the basket. Yeah. That's going to be a hard matchup. Grantham.
Well, he's off to an unbelievable start. 15 points a game, 6 rebounds. 3rd in the league in field goal percentage at 63%, Dan.
But he shoots better than 75% from 2-point range. And there's Yurt 7. You talk about a guy, Yurt 7 would be number 2 in the conference in field goal percentage, but he doesn't have enough made field goals. So when he gets it, he's usually pretty good with it.
Averaging almost 12 a game. He started now 4 of the last 5 for the Wolfpack. Kevin Keats has tinkered around with their order in these first 13 ball games this year. On the drive, and a whistle and foul on the baseline. And James Breeding out from underneath. And it is going to be on Braxton Beverly, 6-foot freshman, Hazard, Kentucky. His first foul of the ball game belongs to the Wolfpack.
You mentioned Markel Johnson being out, and I think that hurts the Wolfpack more defensively than offensively. Reed and Shelton Mitchell and Reed are two really tough guys to match up with on the guard position.
5-second call. They couldn't get the ball in bounds, and Brad Brownell's team a turnover.
And Brad Brownell's team, in the one game they lost this year to Temple, they turned the ball over 18 times. Yeah. And Temple had 25 points off turnovers. Absolutely, Clemson cannot do that today.
2 minutes gone. Beverly a little push with the right hand. Thomas clears it away. Reed. Grantham. And a whistle and foul. And it's on Yurt 7. Omir Yurt 7, the sophomore from Istanbul in Turkey. His first, second on the pack.
One of the things we've seen early, Clemson appearing to be making a concerted effort to drive the ball to the basket.
Grantham around Yurt 7. Strong move. Bounded around. Thomas the rebound. Tried to push it back up. It got deflected away. And here's State again.
1-on-5 doesn't usually work very well.
Abu. Freeman guns and hits. Al Freeman's 23rd three of the year. Young man from Charlotte, averaging almost 16 points a game.
Well, Freeman had 7 made threes in their last game against Jacksonville. When he gets hot, look out.
State had 19 threes.
Obviously,
Coach Keats yesterday about playing like Golden State. Rattle out 3 from Reed.
Obviously, if you make 19 threes, you're not going to lose very many of those games.
No, sir. Freeman again. And the rebound for Dante Grantham. Dan, I talked about tempo at the top. You can look at numbers. Clemson is 301 in tempo. NC State's 57. Here's Thomas and an offensive foul on Elijah Thomas. And a nice job here at 7 to stand in there and take the bump. First on Thomas, first on Clemson. Is tempo that big here today with these two teams? Because it seems to kind of define their personality a little bit.
It defines their personality, and what happens there is Thomas is not a guy to whom you can throw the ball 8 feet from the basket and expect him to drive. He needs to catch it closer to the goal. The Tigers, a very slow start, only 1 for 6. They already have 2 turnovers, that offensive foul being one of them.
By the way, Mark Donnell has come into the ball game for the first time. Transfer from Michigan, and there's Braxton Beverly knocking down the triple.
See, one of the things, Wes, you're talking about tempo, and if you can play at a quick tempo, you can create some situations where you have open shots sort of in a transition-like mode. And Beverly is another guy who can really knock down the threes.
Early 6-point lead for State. Donnell inside scores.
Donnell is a really skilled big guy. And he's a guy, actually, he's not going to give you very much in terms of assists. He's not a great defender or rebounder. But if he can score, he's really dangerous.
Inside, and Leonard Freeman had it blocked. Here's Grantham. 3-on-3. Reed. Baseline layup. Fell off the iron. Beverly the rebound.
Really nice job by Leonard Freeman to just bother that shot. I thought that was too easily.
Dorn off the screen, traveled. State turns it over. And that'll get us to our first break in the action. First giveaway by the Wolfpack.
We talked about Donnell. He's a very skilled inside guy. Nice pivot, lays it in. NC State, however, with the early lead.
8-4, NC State an early 4-point lead with Dan Bonner, Wes Durham, and time for Dan's Ford Keys to the game, brought to you by your local Ford dealer.
Wes, NC State attempts almost 27 free throws a game. I think they have to attack and get to the line. Then we already talked about their transition game. They've got to get easy shots, and Brad Brownell's guys simply can't turn the ball over and give NC State those easy opportunities.
Here's the pressure. And front court, Donnell feeds DeVoe. 3-ball from the corner for Gabe DeVoe.
One of the problems that you have if you pressure and your opponent handles the pressure, in this day and age, somebody's going to get a 3-point shot. And Gabe DeVoe, an outstanding 3-point shooter. That's the risk you take if you're NC State and you go to that pressure very often.
Beverly has been joined in the ball game by the freshman LeVar Batts. And here is the rookie Batts firing for 3. And Amir Sims, another rookie at 6'7", pulls away the rebound for the Clemson Tigers.
Each coach playing a lot of guys early in this game.
Pull them into the deep end of the ACC waters, right? Sims blocked. Got his own rebound. Tried to go back up strong. Stripped of it by Alaric Freeman.
That's twice now that Clemson inside, guys, have forced it up inside. Pitch it back out. Get a wide open jump shot.
1-point game. Leonard Freeman backs down Sims. And Bats turned it over. It will belong to the Tigers.
I think Bats was a little surprised to get that ball. You figure when Freeman has it, he's going to power it up.
Second turnover for NC State. And Grantham to put it in play against some pressure. Spot throw in to DeVoe. Here comes the trap. Mitchell. Shelton Mitchell had a couple of big ball games, averaged 19 points against NC State in the 2 meetings last year. Now he's got a matchup on Freeman. 16-footer for the lead. Air ball. Here's Torrin Dorn trying to flip the floor for the Wolfpack. And Dorn got stripped of it, got it back. And then the rebound for Grantham.
Nice job by Donnell to just tip it out of there. We've seen NC State attack so far, West, but they haven't really been able to be productive with the attack just yet.
Foul on Bats, Dan, his first, 3 on the pack. So LeVar Bats Jr., freshman from Concord, draws the foul. Here's Kevin Keats, 45-year-old native of Lynchburg, Virginia. Played football and basketball at Heritage High School in Lynchburg. I joked with him back in December when I had one of their games. I said, "You good football player?" He says, "I was good." I said, "I'd hope so." He's done a fabulous job rebuilding the foundation in Raleigh, Dan, and that's sometimes a little more than wins and losses when you take over a situation like that.
When you take over a situation, you got to get started, and I think they're off to a very good start, obviously.
Yep. DeVoe for 3 in the lead. Oh, boy.
And I'll tell you what, Gabe DeVoe has looked so comfortable here early. They've got to do something, because in that catch-and-shoot mode today, he looks very, very confident.
Yep. Tigers trying to get in the firing line. Sam Hunt couldn't answer with a 3.
And Hunt is the guy. He's a catch-and-shoot guy,
yes, he
too.
is.
He can get hot. Look out.
Look at DeVoe on the tape. And it rimmed out. And an over-the-back foul on Donnell.
We talked about the fact that sometimes NC State struggles guarding the dribble drive. That time, however, DeVoe did everything but put it in the basket. A very nice job to get by on the perimeter, but no problem out here. Staying on the perimeter, just catches it, gets his feet set, and fires.
So Gabe DeVoe on the board with a pair of 3s. Clemson the 2-point lead and subs both ways during the break.
Gabe DeVoe shoots 37% from out there.
State's gone scoreless last 3.5 minutes. Bats. Freeman slides to the baseline and scores.
That was all about that first 3 he made. He gets the ball out there and he is susceptible to that fake. Clemson went for the fake. Freeman did a nice job getting inside the 3-point line and knocking down the jumper.
The freshman is Clyde Trapp from Eastover, South Carolina. 6'4", averaging about 3 points a game for Coach Brownell. Little runner on the baseline. Off the mark for Reed. Ball game tied at 10. Freeman on the drive, and it's blocked away by DeVoe. It'll stay with the pack. Dan, interesting feel to this in the first almost 8 minutes of play.
We talked about the fact that NC State likes to drive the ball to the basket and get to the free throw line. They've driven the ball to the basket, but Clemson, with a couple of blocked shots, has thus far kept them off the line. That's good defense by Clemson at the basket.
Freeman will fall away. You're 7 inside with the rebound. He'll get it to Bats for reset. Back to Yurt 7 and a quick jumper. Abu couldn't finish with the tap. DeVoe for Grantham. Right to the basket. Had it deflected away, and Grantham reached in and draws the foul. Trying to battle for the miss. 3rd on Clemson, the 1st on the senior from Martinsburg, West Virginia, who's got 3 double-doubles this year. And Brad Brownell, native of Evansville, Indiana, now in season number 8 here at Clemson with 135 wins. And you note the 302. Both he and Kevin Keats are former head guys at UNC Wilmington.
Wes, we've had each team get a lot of shots very close to the basket, but highly contested shots. Haven't seen very many of those go in.
Each team is sitting on 15 field goal attempts. Both are 4 of 15.
And some of them have been at point-blank range,
they have.
but not all alone at point-blank range. The inside defense has been pretty effective so far.
Freeman going to work on Sims. Long 2. DeVoe. DeVoe looking for an alley. Here's Amir Sims. A trap. Skara, the transfer from Valpo. And he can't find the range.
Well, he did a nice job stepping inside the defender, but he just couldn't get it to go down.
Yep. Skip across, and Freeman's 3. Another miss for these schools. Wow. Oh, nice look away. William couldn't hang on to it. That's Malik William. He did save it. Sims couldn't knock down the shot. And last touch by the Tigers. Wow. Well, it is ACC play. All 18 games are a premium. Both these teams have been knocking off some early rust here at Clemson. ACC basketball is brought to you by Husqvarna Auto Mower. All-Star Lawns start with Auto Mower. Seeing is believing at automower.us. And by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. Clemson and NC State tied at 10. We welcome you back to Littlejohn Coliseum with Dan Bonner, Wes Durham, our producer Jay Hoover, our director Lonnie Dale, and great to be back with our ACC basketball crew for the 65th season of Atlantic Coast Conference basketball. State and Clemson meeting for the 153rd time here today. Yurt 7 turns on the baseline and with the left hand scores to give State back the lead.
Your 7 is just too good if you let him get that close and that comfortable with the basket.
Donnell all the way through, can't finish at the rim. We've had a half dozen shots at least point-blank range and falling off the iron for both teams. Beverly, the scoop and score in transition.
And that's exactly what NC State wants to do. And if you're Clemson, you've got to be able to make those shots right on top of the basket.
Double team and a whistle and foul. Abu ticketed with his first.
Sometimes when the offense misses an easy shot, it creates a transition opportunity going the other way, and Beverly takes advantage of it. Beverly's pretty good with the basketball. Started out very slowly, but over his last couple of games, he's averaged about 7 assists a game.
Well, he's had 3 double-figure games in his last 4, and you're right, 11 assists, 3 turnovers the other night in the win against Jacksonville.
He's very good with the basketball, and he's a threat to pull up and shoot it at any time.
David Skara from Croatia, the junior transfer from Valpo in the ball game, with Mitchell, DeVoe, Marquise Reed, and Mark Donnell. Clemson's missed their last 5 shots from the floor, and State's got a 4-point lead on the Tigers. Mitchell going to work. Blocked here at 7 off the iron. Donnell saves it for Clemson. Skara, a 3, short. And Abu hit the end line. It'll stay with the Tigers.
That's a tough break. Kevin Keats, though, has to be pleased with the way his guys have. You know, they really went after that one.
Well, it's interesting. Keats, coming into this job, talked about making everything competitive, Dan. Everything from, obviously, the wins and losses. There is a resolve in a game, but it's competitive in practice sessions. Well, Art Freeman said we're not sure we're having basketball practice or track practice in early October when they started drills. They are in shape, well-conditioned. And, yeah, there will be wins and losses for this team, but I think he's done a really solid job putting this foundation together. DeVoe lost it off his foot. It'll be given back to the Wolfpack on that. 4th turnover on NC State.
I don't think against NC State that you can dribble the ball around the perimeter. You've got to take the ball. If you're going to dribble it, you've got to go to the basket. You have got to attack. Clemson has been a little passive here in the last couple of possessions. I think it's hurt them.
Abu tried to get it to Beverly. Boy, Reed almost knocked it away. Now Freeman will shoot from the corner. Tapped around, Abu had it, lost it, cleaned up inside, and scored by Torin Dorn.
And that could be a problem for Clemson, because when you've got your 7 and Dorn and Abu all in the game at the same time, those are 3 pretty powerful rebounding guys.
Clemson's missed their last 8 shots, gone 4.5 minutes without a bucket. 6-point lead for the Pack. Grantham. Here's DeVoe. That 3 bounds away. Clemson shooting 19% from the floor as Abu saw his jumper rattle out. Grantham tries to turn it over. All the way to the basket, up off the glass. No, Yurt 7 the rebound.
See, that was a close shot, but that was a really, really tough shot.
Beverly traveled. State gives it right back.
And Beverly doesn't turn it over very much. That's 4 turnovers on the part of NC State. But if you're NC State, you're going to push the ball up the court. You're going to turn it over a little bit. But for Clemson, that was a very tough shot by Grantham the last time. I think he's much better off just to do a jump stop and pull up and shoot a short jumper. Braxton Beverly certainly can't get up and block Grantham's shot.
Clemson's missed their last 10 shots on the floor. Tigers need a bucket for sure. DeVoe for Grantham in the corner. Got it. Dante Grantham with 5, and that's his 15th 3 of the year.
You don't have to penetrate to score all the time. You penetrate and draw the defense and kick it out, and that's exactly what Clemson did.
And an offensive foul off the ball. Raymond Stein's a whistle. And it's on Yurt 7, yeah, his second. Meanwhile, Dante Grantham snaps the Tiger drought. Triple from the corner for 3-point lead for the Pack. Well, Dante Grantham and the Tigers trail 3, under 8 to go, and Dante Grantham's our hearty star to watch. And celebrated for breaking the 1,000-point barrier in his Clemson career before the ball game. Senior from Martinsburg, West Virginia. Dan, statistically, it's a whole new Dante Grantham.
Well, he's always been able to shoot it, but he's rebounding the ball and he's scoring close. Speaking of scoring and shooting the ball, there's DeVoe.
Yep.
Again, that's his 3rd 3-point basket of the game.
His 9 leads all scorers. Locked up at 16. Freeman. Dorn a leaping catch. Quickly back inside. Leonard Freeman. Scoring from in front. The redshirt senior from Washington, D.C. gives the Pack back an advantage.
What a great job maintaining his pivot foot in the lane there. Thomas is no slouch in there playing defense either.
Nope. Mitchell. Shelton scoreless so far, averaging almost 13 a game. And the layup rolls in.
I think that's a really tough matchup for Braxton Beverly. He's going to have a really hard time staying in front of Mitchell, and so NC State's got to make sure they get Beverly some help. Clemson has stayed in man-to-man as well.
Freeman around DeVoe. Mitchell got a hand in it. It covers to Beverly. 10 to shoot for Freeman. Got caught in the air. Bats with 5 on the shot clock. Guns it up. And Elijah Thomas the rebound. Mitchell. Ooh, behind the back. Another one in the corner. Nope, short for Reed. Look at LeVar Batts Jr.
What is he doing?
He went all the way to the rim, and Leonard Freeman cleans up the miss by the rookie.
Freeman bailed him out that time. Batts drove the ball into the middle of a big crowd.
The old coach, what's he doing? 20 to 18, State by a basket.
He was just out of control, and Freeman bailed him out. But Leonard Freeman's always been a guy that's had a nose for the ball.
Figures I'm in the ACC. It's my first conference game on the road. I'm going to show you what I got. Mitchell, nice play. Shelton Mitchell starting to find some rhythm.
I don't know if that's rhythm. That was some sort of a play.
They had 2 baskets.
Faked out about 2 guys.
Yeah.
Spun.
Ties the game at 20. Batts is bumped and fouled. And that is Shelton Mitchell's first and the 4th on Clemson.
Now, we talked about Mitchell and his ability to get the ball to the basket. He spins around Batts. actually fakes a pass, forces Freeman to step away, and then gets the ball all the way to the basket.
Dorn checks out. Abdul-Malik Abu in for State. Here's Amir Sims replacing Dante Grantham. A lot of coaches going into their bench here a little bit. Now, Kevin Keats is a little narrower than Brad Brownell's, but both not shy about moving guys in the lineup.
Kevin Keats has already played 8 guys in this game. Brad Brownell 10. So
Abu fighting into traffic, draws the foul. And it's on Sims. 6'7" freshman. His first, 5 on Clemson. Oh boy.
These are the first free throws of the game.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's not that these teams haven't been driving the ball to the basket. They have.
And Abu knocks the free throw down. NC State 11th in the league coming in. Abu is 59%. And one more coming. And got them both. NC State a year ago in conference play, under 67% at the line, but first free throws of the game push it back to a 2-point State lead.
We talked about Marquise Reed. He's really hadn't done very much offensively for Clemson today.
Rimmed out 3 by Mitchell. Thomas made the save off Leonard Freeman.
That's some play by Thomas.
Crowd appreciative of the effort by the junior from Dallas.
Well, long jump shot, and this is really a great job by Thomas to get his feet set before he goes out of bounds.
DeVoe and Al Freeman right there. Front rim miss of the triple.
Difference between a wide open 3, which he has been making, and those contested 3s, which he has missed.
Beverly bounces to Freeman. Blocked away Thomas. Karams out to Alec Freeman. No relation between he and Lamard. Abu at the foul line. And Thomas another rebound for the Tigers.
Now Abu can shoot that little jumper, but he is much better close to the basket.
Reed spinning through traffic, and a foul called before the shot. And it's on Leonard Freeman, his first 6 on State.
Had Thomas down on the other end with a great offensive rebound. And here he just comes over with help defense. And this is the reason why the teams have been getting close shots but have not been able to convert, is because the defensive help on the inside for both teams has been very, very good.
You see Sam Hunt return to replace Braxton Beverly. Elijah Thomas, by the way, 5th in the league in block shots at 28 coming into the ball game. Here's Mitchell out front, just ahead of 4 minutes to play.
One of the things that has to happen for Clemson is Reed has to get it going a little bit. Nice that.
Thomas, and a foul by Abu. 7 now on State, 2nd on the senior Abdul-Malik Abu. And Elijah Thomas will get a couple of free throws out of this, and Clemson on the year at 73% as a squad coming in. Thomas's first one. Is good. Don't forget to ask your participating Tire Pros of the Carolinas dealer how you can save $25 off your next tire purchase. First points of the game for the Texas A&M transfer of a season ago. Does have 5 rebounds in 9 minutes.
We talked about NC State's size on the interior with Abu and Freeman in your 7. It's been hard for Thomas to get any kind of openings in there.
He had 8.6 rebounds in their win against South Carolina, 15 points. Back last Friday, 8 days ago, when they beat Louisiana Lafayette. Tied at 22, we go under 4 to play first half. Scar has come back on the floor for the Tigers, wearing number 24. Bats, little runner, bounds away, got it back, scooped it up, and deflected away, and Thomas chases it down. Big fella in the front court, leaves it for Reed.
Just what we talked about, I think Reed's got to get going for Clemson's offense to really operate in high gear. Just a nice job by Reed to run the court and find that open three in transition.
First points of the game for Reed. Bats off the Freeman screen. Into the corner. Dorn is short. Reed changes direction. Lost it on the drive. They go to the deck. Scrum is on under the basket. And Reed threw it away trying to go to DeVoe. Marquise saw Gabe DeVoe, but a moment ago, Elijah Thomas tees up the guard. The big fella handed out an assist. Clemson a 3-point lead on NC State. We rejoin you from Littlejohn Coliseum, and here's a quick synopsis of what Kevin Keatts has done so far in his first 13 games with his club.
Very impressive down there, the third bullet point, fourth in the ACC in scoring. 86 points a game is a lot of points. That really puts pressure on an opposing defense.
The Brad Brownell's team, 11-1. And you see they're right outside the window of the top 25, Dan. Some nice wins. The one against Florida, certainly. The road win at Ohio State has kind of gotten lost a little bit as we move toward the start of conference play.
Clemson has done everything they needed to do in the non-conference portion of the schedule. Now they have to convert it and do it in the conference portion of the schedule as well.
Freeman rimmed off, knocked away, last touched by the Wolfpack.
And it's been a little bit of a struggle inside for Leonard Freeman. He's now 2 of 5, but so far this season he's done a very good job scoring in those inside situations. Clemson, however, keeping the pressure on the interior.
So that lineup now with Grantham, DeVoe, Reed, Skara, and Elijah Thomas on the floor for Coach Brownell and the Tigers. And getting it bounced to the Valpo transfer.
I don't think you want him bringing the ball up the court.
Beats Dorn on the dribble. Maybe you do. Tried to bounce it to Thomas, turned it over. Now State with Sam Hunt. And swatted out by Grantham. Tigers go the other way. Here's DeVoe. And Thomas collects and scores.
Thomas did a great job running the court, although I thought he was the wrong guy to catch that ball. That ball should have gone to Skara. But the Tigers don't care. They'll take the 2 points.
And a 5-point lead. Dorn down the lane and foul. Tigers 7-0 run to take this 5-point lead. There's the second on Elijah Thomas.
And that might be a big play right there. Grantham with the block shot that turns into a transition opportunity. Skara's alone. They throw it to Thomas, and he has a tough time catching it in traffic. Did a great job to hang on and lay it in. The problem for Clemson and for Thomas now is he just picked up his second personal foul. And in the past with the Tigers, he has tended to be a little bit foul prone. And in ACC play, I think he's got to stay in the game.
Free throw by Dorn is good. Third point for Torin Dorn. Dan, to your point, Elijah Thomas fouled out of 6 ACC games a year ago. And it was double figures total through the regular season.
And he goes to the bench right now. And Donnell comes in the game. And Donnell is a very good player. Experienced guys, had a lot of NCAA tournament experience coming from Michigan.
Right.
But he's a totally different kind of player than Thomas.
He's played more than 100 games in his college career. There's Mark Donnell.
But he's more of a finesse kind of guy. And Thomas is a power guy. So it really changes the dynamic for the Clemson Tigers.
3-point lead, 100 seconds to go in this opening half. First conference game for both the Tigers and Wolfpack here today at Littlejohn. 5 to shoot, Reed. Donnell the rebound. Back to Reed with a fresh 30. Grantham slicing in and a foul. It's on Torin Dorn Jr., his first 8 now on NC State. So Dante Grantham, 77% at the free throw line. We'll get to the strike.
He's got a 1-on-1, but that time, Wes, he didn't try to make some funny contested shot on an off-balance kind of thing. He went into the lane, he jump-stopped, he was pulling up for a jumper when he got fouled. And that's exactly what he needs to do.
6 points, 5 rebounds for Grantham so far. And the second one good. Sheldon Mitchell will get Dante Grantham's spot. Dan, could it be the senior, the finality of the whole deal is starting to surface here for Grantham?
That very well could be, but he's the guy who's just worked on his game, learned how to play.
Off to an outstanding start. 15 points, 6 rebounds, 60% from the floor. Almost 40% from three-point territory. Coming into today, Freeman travel. Miscue by Al Freeman. Sends it back to the Tigers on the 6th NC State turnover this first half.
We talked before the game about Freeman being very aggressive, and Kevin Keats wants him to be aggressive, but you also have to be under control.
A little backcourt pressure offered up here by State. Clemson on a 9-2 run in the last 3 minutes here to take this 5-point lead.
NC State has stayed in the man-to-man. It's been an aggressive man-to-man. Clemson has had to work really hard to run its stuff on this end.
Donnell with 11 to shoot. Nice cut. Reed the score.
And that's what Donnell gives you. He's not a guy who's going to play with his back to the basket and power the ball to the goal, but he found a teammate cutting to the basket. That's just an excellent play.
State the timeout. 7-point lead for Clemson.
Donnell does a great job keeping his balance inside. He gets knocked off balance, recovers, and finds Reed cutting to the basket. That is a very good job by Donnell. Threw it a little bit behind him, but again, the idea is the correct thing.
So Marquise Reed has got 5. Sheldon Mitchell 4, so that's only 9 of Clemson's 31. Boy, Gabe DeVoe's 3 threes early. Kind of steadied Clemson a little bit through some choppy waters, Dan.
Yeah, without any question, Grantham and DeVoe have carried the Tigers here in the first half offensively. And, you know, it hasn't been a great offensive first half for either one of these teams.
Both schools are, in fact, State's under 30%. Clemson is at a 33% rate. They're 11 of 33. The Tigers have hit 3 more threes than have the Wolfpack. Maybe some first conference game jitters here today for both these schools.
Very possibly, Wes. I think that NC State needs to do a better job getting the ball inside. They're 2 of 10 shooting threes, and they're a little too three-point heavy, I think, here in the first half.
Well, Dirt 7 picked up the 2 fouls. That's been tough on Coach Keats' club here early. Dorn, 8 to shoot, spins, and travels.
How many traveling violations? That's 7 turnovers for NC State. It's got to be 4 of them were traveling violations.
Well, State's gone now over 5.5 minutes without a field goal.
That's a tough way to make a living on the road. ACC.
Yep, just those free throws by Abu and Dorn here in the latter stages. Final 17 seconds. Clemson with the shot clock off can get the last look here. Here's DeVoe against Beverly. 10 seconds. 5 seconds and Gabe DeVoe going to work. Slices through, put it up. Freeman boxed it out. Grantham caught it. They count the basket. They'll check it. But I think Dante Grantham is going to push this to a 9-point lead going to the locker room.
Well, again, DeVoe feels like he's got a lane that he can get by. Watch up at the top of your screen. Absolutely. He gets the ball off before the clock goes to 0.
9 for Grantham, 9 for DeVoe. Clemson goes on a 13-2 run in the last 4 minutes of the first half. And the Tigers lead the pack by 9. Hardy's halftime report from Littlejohn Coliseum on this first full weekend of ACC play is next. Well, just better than 48 hours away from the college football playoff semifinal. Good crowd of Tigers in here today, Dan.
Really good crowd. And they saw Clemson have that 13-2 run to end the half. For North Carolina State, I think they have to do a better job scoring on the inside. Get Yerk 7 involved, get Abu involved, really attack Clemson in there.
Yerk 7 saddled with some foul trouble. Back to the left hand to start the frame, and Thomas another rebound. Reed front court for Clemson. He works with Mitchell and Grantham and DeVoe, and there's a trap. Yep.
And those are the kind of turnovers that drive Brad Brownell crazy. A coach would never wants his team to turn the ball over, but that's just a waste right there.
Yep. 7 of them now, the Tigers.
I'd put the ball in Yurt 7's hands again. You know, he doesn't have to shoot it every time down, but I think he's got to be a threat every time.
Well, nice pass, and Yurt 7 of 3. Reed the rebound. Here is Thomas ahead. Yurt 7 blocked it. Big time play by Yurt 7, and here is Freeman. Euro steps and kicks to Dorn. And stripped and fouled, and that's on Elijah Thomas, I believe, and that'll be 3. Yep, 3rd on the junior from Dallas, 1st in the half on Clemson.
Now Yurt 7 does a great job chasing this play, not hanging his head because he missed that 3. And again, he's 7 feet tall. He's a pretty skilled guy, Yurt 7. Just does a great job hustling back. And the result is that Thomas gets his 3rd foul.
So Dorn will get a couple of free throws. He's 2 for 2. Make it 3 for 3. Don't forget, there's an ACC women's basketball doubleheader coming up for you tomorrow, 12:30. Duke alum Katie Meyer welcomes Duke. She's the head coach of the Miami Women's Club. And then 2:30, Louisville and NC State, Wes Moore's Wolfpack welcome the Cards to Littlejohn Coliseum. Both of them good for Dorn. He's got 6.
I think also the Wolfpack has to find more opportunities to play in transition. They got one that time because of the blocked shot. But whatever works.
Mitchell to DeVoe. 7-point lead for the Tigers. Donnell has replaced Thomas. There's a skip. 3 by Mitchell. Rims in. Shelton Mitchell with 7. State wastes no time getting back down the floor, do they, Dan?
No, they do not, and I don't think they should.
Abu inside, foul, and 1. Abdul Malik Abu's first field goal. Foul is on Gabe DeVoe. It's his first. 2 on the Tigers.
Now, Abu is an impressive physical presence on the inside, and that's why I think he's got to play. We've seen him miss a couple of jump shots, but he needs to be right around the basket because I'm not sure, particularly with Thomas on the bench, that Clemson has anybody in there who can really offer much resistance.
Free throw by Abu rattles out. 8-point lead for Clemson in the basketball. Inside, they feed Donnell for the dunk. He's got 4. Lead is 10.
Really nice job by Reed. You expect when he starts driving to the basket, he's going to score, but he drew everybody and found Donnell.
Yurt 7 lost the handle on it, and they go to the end line, and last touch by the Pack.
Just right at the end of the first half, we saw Donnell do a nice job passing the ball to Reed. Well, here Reed returns the favor. You saw Yurt 7 comes over to Reed, and that leaves Donnell all alone.
8th turnover by State. 2 minutes gone, second half. Opening conference game for both schools here today. Mitchell on the drive. Yurt 7 bothered it, and last touch by Donnell.
See, there is another instance, I think, where Reed shoots the ball against heavy pressure when you don't necessarily need to do that.
Right.
Of course, his teammates have to help him out. When he drives into that traffic, somebody's got to get to an open spot.
Beverly and an offensive foul on Abu. Donnell got there to draw the charge.
Well, we saw Abu score before by driving the ball to the basket, and Donnell just gets there in time. Both feet on the floor facing the dribbler. That's a guarding position, and once you establish it, then the guy can't run you over.
Well, Brad Brownell had to be happy to get somebody like Mark Donnell. As you said in the first half, statistically, maybe not a lot, but instinctively and experience-wise, Dan, you can't ask for a better guy. Here's DeVoe on the long baseball pass. Layup, no good, and a block is called. And I think Al Freeman will be ticketed here, and it will be Freeman's first, second on State.
Well, this is a long pass, and in football, they would say, well, this was a back shoulder throw, but actually it was just a bad throw. And Freeman's got to get out of the way there. You know, he wasn't trying to stop the play, and if you're not going to try to stop the play, just get all the way out of there. Don't give the official a chance to blow the whistle.
DeVoe's free throw rattles around and drops in. 80% on the year. He's now got 10 points and 6 rebounds. 4th double-figure game in the last 5 for DeVoe. Largest lead for the Tigers at 11. Gabe had 19 in their win against Florida. That was another shot over the forward bow by Brownell's team in December, Dan.
Well, again, that doesn't really matter right now, Wes, unless they take care of business within the conference.
Yep. Beverly. Try to reroute on the dribble, pull up 2. Good for Braxton Beverly. He's got 7. Backcourt pressure here by the Pack on a made basket. DeVoe spots for 3. Might have been a little quick in the offensive set.
Well, you get a wide open 3. I think that's fine. You just have to be careful. You don't want to create a pace that North Carolina State likes. And Beverly obviously likes the pace at the moment.
He's in double figures now. His second 3 gives him 10. And it's down to 6. So 5 in a row by the Pack. And there's a foul on Batts. Second, third on State.
Well, you saw Beverly with a pull-up off the dribble, and this is just a catch-and-shoot 3. He steps right into it. He is a deadly three-point shooter. His offense coming off the bench in that Arizona game, a big key for the NC State win. That's their biggest win so far this year.
Mitchell. Donnell. Grantham gets it to Reed. Back to Grantham. Missed the dunk.
I think he was worried about Yurt 7.
Freeman a 3. Donnell the rebound.
That's a break for Clemson because that ball was all the way down, but you miss a dunk on the one end.
Here goes Reed for it. DeVoe the catch and lay in.
And there's the difference we're talking about. That time Reed penetrates the defense and DeVoe went and found an open spot, so Reed wasn't forced to take a tough off-balance shot.
Almost 4 minutes gone, second half. State led or trailed by 9 at the break. Yurt 7 a step out. Nice shot for Omier. Yurt 7's third field goal. Back to a 6-point game. Reed a 3.
You know, I just don't like Reed with the standstill 3. If he shoots it off the move, then I think he's a little better three-point shooter.
DeVoe knocked it away. Here goes Gabe DeVoe. Freeman behind him. And it fell out. Donnell will tip it in. My goodness.
What a great play by Donnell. That's a basket. You knew Freeman wasn't going to get anywhere close because he got the foul the last time. So everybody could have stopped. But Donnell didn't, and as a result, he gets a couple of points.
8-point advantage for the Tigers. Yurt 7 step away.
Oh, they're going to have to guard him.
Yep. Too talented a player at like 12 feet, Dan. He can score the ball.
His size and the fact that he can play so effectively close to the basket, when he can step out like that, makes him a very difficult guy to defend.
Mitchell scoots through and scores. He has 9, 5 in the second half. The lead is back to 8.
Well, everybody's found their offense here in the second half, Wes.
Tell it all. Yurt 7 misses there. Clemson's even picked up the pace a little bit.
That was a good decision by Grantham to pull that out. You saw him thinking about the 3 because Beverly was guarding.
DeVoe had it swatted away by Yurt 7. And that'll get us to a break. 5.5 gone in the second frame. Shelton Mitchell finds his way through traffic. Tiger lead is 8 when we come back. Well, time for today's edition of Toyota Let's Go Places. How about the Allen Reeves Family Football Building over on the Clemson campus? About a year old, Dan, in February. Nap room, golf simulator, bowling alley for William Christopher Sweeney to roll his rock. Pardon the pun. Wiffle ball field. You had all these things when you were playing ACC basketball, did you not?
Absolutely.
And, of course, the national championship trophies in the lobby to greet you. Tigers play Alabama on Monday night following Georgia, Oklahoma. College football playoff semifinals.
You know, it's amazing, Wes. Everybody around here thinks that's sort of a big thing.
What's that?
The football game.
Yeah, it's yeah. Folks kind of
excited about it.
There they are. Here is Reed fouled, and He and Batts got caught up. Roger Ayers, the whistle, the foul on LeVar Batts will get 3 free throws.
Batts really got lured into that one. Reed was looking for the foul the whole time. He fakes him and then just jumps into him. Batts has to get himself stopped. Now they're going to check to see whether it was a 3 or a 2, so see how many free throws to give him.
Shot clock had gotten down to about 1. So Roger Ayers with James Breeding. And we'll let you look at the play.
It's clearly behind the line there, but with the pump fake as he steps toward. Okay, it's clearly 3. And that is what they were looking at.
Yep. So Marquise Reed, who is 83% on the year at the line, but as Dan told you earlier about year 7, Reed does not have enough free throw appearances, attempts per game to qualify for statistics. 3rd foul on LeVar Batts, the freshman from Concord, North Carolina. It's the 4th on NC State. Here's the first of 3 for Reed. That's good. Speaking of bowl games, next week on ACC All Access, an in-depth look at the big bowl games and conference standouts, plus a review of all your favorite ACC teams in action. Check the local listings on your regional sports network. Jeff Fischel hosts the program. Reed's got the first 2 free throws, giving him 7 in the ball. 4 rebounds and 3 assists. They got all 3.
You know, Reed, you're talking about an offensive player, comes into the game shooting almost 50% overall, 40% from beyond the three-point line, and 83% from the line.
Here's Beverly out front. Almost 6 minutes gone, second half. The Tiger lead is 11.
Now Donnell on the inside. He's a very experienced player, but I think he's got to put the ball in Freeman's hands and put some pressure on Donnell in there.
0 is Clyde Trapp on the floor. David Scarra has also come back in the ball game. Dorn rubbed out the dunk. Freeman tried to clean it up, and a foul called on Clemson.
So in this game now, we have had 2 really good players, first Grantham, now Dorn, miss what should be easy dunks, just driving it down the lane. Scarra can't get around the screen, and maybe Reed put his hand in there and deflected something, but another missed dunk.
Leonard Freeman, 4 points today on 2 first-half field goals.
Well, Freeman is a guy who, in his career, averaged less than 4 points a game, 3.6 points a game. Comes into this one, averaging over 12 a game.
Well, I'm sure you feel the same way. Just the fact Leonard Freeman is healthy, Dan, for the first time in about 2.5 years, right?
Absolutely. And Freeman is a guy who's fun to watch. He's one of those players who does not have to be scoring to help your team because he does so many other things so well.
Yep, he can help you win a lot of games.
But, of course, it helps when he scores.
10-point lead. Mitchell crosses over Beverly. Skips to Grantham for 3. Here's Beverly the rebound, and the Wolfpack in transition. Gets a screen from Dorn. Bounce pass, nice catch and score. Leonard Freeman.
Boy, that was some pass.
Yep. Very nice from Braxton Beverly, who comes in the ballgame #1 in assist-to-turnover ratio in the ACC. Tiger lead is 8 with about 7 minutes gone, second half.
That was a great pass to Freeman, and that's where they need to go. They need to get some points inside, and Freeman is the guy who can give it to him with that matchup against Donnell.
State is 6 of 11 from the floor. There's Grantham weaving through, fell off the rim, got it back, got it blocked and fouled. Here's Dante Grantham, and I think it's on the senior Leonard Freeman.
It is. Now, when Grantham caught that ball inside, Wes, he didn't realize he was all alone. Look how much time it takes him to turn and get to the basket, and he makes what should have been a very easy play, a very hard one, but he gets his own rebound and draws the foul. But if he had he realized how wide open he was, he could have gotten to the goal much quicker.
Free throw by Grantham gives him 10. And 8 rebounds. By the way, Dante Grantham, as you see Al Freeman come back for State, Grantham's wearing 32 this year. First 3 years at Clemson, he wore 15. And just kind of wanted a new change, and Magic Johnson's one of his favorite players. So 32 is available. Grantham's gone for 32, and I'd say so far so good. Here in his final campaign out of Martinsburg, West Virginia. Now stolen away, open floor. Timeout, Kevin Keats. Clemson's largest lead of the ball game now. Up to 12 at 52-40. Dante Grantham, 13 now for the Tigers. Back after this. 12-point lead for Clemson, and the senior Dante Grantham has a lot to do with it, Dan.
Well, Grantham may be off to a little bit of a slow start in this game, but he has done a great job taking advantage of opportunities. First the three, then the offensive rebound at the end of the first half. Here he gets the steal and the dunk. He's also got a couple of blocked shots in the game. Just a very solid all-around game by Dante Grantham.
13 points, 8 rebounds for Grantham. He's had 20 or more in 3 games this year. Tigers with a 12-point lead, and Alec Freeman traveled with it on the wing at the right.
And that's a situation, something that we've seen throughout most of the game, but particularly since Clemson got it rolling offensively. The Clemson defense has been stifling. North Carolina State as a team comes in here, averages, we said, 86 points a game. Here we're 8 minutes into the second half, and they only have 40. The Clemson defense has been very effective.
Well, it's the one thing that if you saw the Tigers play prior to today, looked like had returned for Brad Brownell. Not as good defensively last year, quite frankly, as they've been in years prior to.
Well, we talked about the fact that Clemson had to avoid turnovers before the game. They forced 11. They've scored 18 points as a result of those NC State turnovers. And now they're getting it rolling on offense a little bit. Another Donnell cut to the basket.
He's got 8. Clemson's biggest lead. Bats the scoop and the foul, and I believe Donnell again. That's Donnell's third, 4 on the Tigers, but a moment ago, the Michigan grad transfer finishes off the nice bounce pass from Mitchell.
Clemson leads it by 14, and look up here at the top of your screen. There's Mark Donnell and Omar Yurtseven. Yurtseven now goes with the basketball. Now watch what happens here. Yurtseven isn't looking at his man. He's looking right this way on Donnell, realizes that, and he goes straight to the basket. The help of Boo doesn't get over there fast enough, but even if you're trying to double team, if you're trying to help your teammate, you got to have some idea where your guy is. You just turn your back to a guy. An experienced player like Donnell is going right to the basket.
Foul on Donnell prior to the timeout, so LeVar Batts Jr. rims out a free throw. He's yet to score in his first ACC game.
Remember what we talked about as our key for NC State? They had to get to the free throw line and convert. They just haven't been there that much. They're now 8 for 11 shooting the free throws, but they haven't. That's not very many based on the fact that they shoot 26 a game coming in. And they've gotten very few easy opportunities. We said free and easy, and they've basically had nothing easy.
Yep.
The Clemson defense has really been good.
Reed trying to get around the Boo, does, and draws the foul. 4th on Abdul Malik Abu. 6 now at State.
Now, if you're Abdul Malik Abu and you find yourself matched up against somebody like Reed out on the perimeter, the first thing you have to do is take a couple of steps away, get back toward the basket, force Reed to go outside and shoot that jump shot, because if a big guy stays so close to a guard, that guard's eyes light up and he goes right by.
So Abu comes out with the 4.
And you particularly have to do that when you got 3 fouls.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Keats doing a little coaching.
I was telling you, you got to get further away. You got to get down in the stands.
Yep. 11.5 to go and a 15-point Tiger lead. Largest of the ball game for Brad Brownell's team. Freeman had it deflected and last touched on the Tigers.
That time as Freeman drove down into the lane, Dante Grantham followed him again. And if you're Freeman, you simply have to recognize the fact that you've drawn 3 guys. Somebody has to be open.
Yep. Freeman. Here's Yurtseven. Likes the left hand, goes right that time.
Oh, wow.
Thomas, good heavens. It gave to those litigating that it bounced off of Yurtseven's head before it went out of bounds.
Well, this is some play by Thomas. Just slaps the ball away. Yurtseven got himself a little bit too far behind the backboard that time.
Freeman a step back 3. Reed pulls it away.
Maybe a good idea to go after Thomas with the 3 fouls, but you can't take those kinds of contested opportunities.
Mitchell. There's Reed. against Beverly. Marquise spot up. And it's 7 the rebound. Quick outlet for Beverly. You hear Kevin Keach near our courtside location yelling for his team to go with it. And there's Beverly at the rim for the basket.
Well, that was actually a little bit of a slow go that time. I think you would like him to get out there and move a little faster, although Beverly continues to show you the fact that he's a whole lot more than just a jump shooter.
Yeah, 12 for Beverly, 5 field goals, including a pair of threes for the freshman from Hazard, Kentucky. Mitchell. Grantham works down. Out of a double team, here's Reed. Marquise will go, the scoop, and too strong. You're at 7 the rebound.
You saw you're at 7. And he thought, okay, I got to protect this basketball. And got close, but attempted a tough shot. And how many times have we seen that today? Close shots, but really tough shots.
Dorn. And the rebound for Marquise Reed.
And Dorn's had a tough day today, too. Only 1 field goal for Dorn.
Yep. In fact, he's 1 of 5 from the floor. He has 6 rebounds in 24 minutes today. Lead is still 13 for Clemson. Mitchell slips it to Thomas. And the layup good for Elijah Thomas. He has 6 now.
That's a break for Clemson because Thomas didn't move where he should have moved.
15-point game and turned over. Mitchell trying to stay away from Freeman's pressure.
That's a good job by NC State getting back.
And James Breeding did not get a reset of the shot clock on the turnover. So nice job by the officiating crew here to pause the game and get the clock set.
See, Mitchell passes it to Thomas, but Thomas was standing too far away from the basket. The moment that your 7 went to guard the ball, Thomas needs to step to the basket, and then it's just a little flip pass and a dunk. But Mitchell really had to, contort himself to make that pass, and Thomas is lucky somebody didn't step in and take a charge.
All right, they've doubled up on the paint points here today as Clemson.
The other Look at the points off turnover.
Well, that's the other number, right?
That's the number right there. And remember what we talked about with Clemson. The one game they lost, they turned the ball over 18 times against Temple. Temple had 25 points off turnovers. Clemson only had 7, so they were minus 18 in that department.
But it also goes back to them being better defensively.
Yes, and here, talking about defense, they've done a nice job with their ability to block shots. Thomas has a couple, Grantham has 3, DeVoe has 1. It's just been really difficult. You talk about the fact that Clemson has an advantage on the points inside. Well, that's one reason.
Let me ask you, there's a thinking, and sometimes we see it happen. They get the clock reset. Jerron Blossom game was so much of what Clemson was the last 2 years. That maybe a guy like a Grantham or Thomas last year trying to slide in. Now no Blossom game. They need each other more than they need that one guy. And we've seen that happen before in the ACC.
There's no question about that. But, of course, you'd rather have Jerron Blossom games than not have him. But you're right. The different people have to step into different roles. And sometimes when they do, it works out very well.
Yep. Well, it's worked so well for Clemson. 11 wins in 12 games. And leading by 15 with 9 to go here. Mitchell. Bounce pass, layup, Reed. That's well done by Shelton Mitchell.
Well, that was a mistake by Bax. With the ball in the middle of the lane, you don't hang on your guy out in the corner. Nice job by Reed to recognize that the defender had made a mistake and made him pay for it.
Kick out for a Beverly 3. It's 7. Defers to Dorn. And Dorn back up and blocked. Thomas got a hand on that. Grantham behind the back. DeVoe the lob. Reed the catch and score. Tigers went rim to rim that time.
In style, they went rim to rim.
19-point lead's their largest. Grantham, little behind the back. DeVoe looped it. Oh, Reed, fundamental stand. Back after this. ACC basketball is brought to you by the official corporate champions of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Geico. New York Life. Bojangles. Food Lion. And by Toyota. Well, in NC State's half-court possession got tipped away, so Tigers can't control it. It'll stay with the Pack, who trail 19 just ahead of 8 minutes to go here today.
West, but Clemson, again, very active defensively. They have held North Carolina State to 31% shooting overall, 18% from beyond the arc.
Freeman on the drive. Thomas recovers, and Mitchell had it go through the wickets. Shelton pats himself on the chest and said, "That's on me, Elijah. I'm sorry."
And it's really easy to do that when you're up by 19.
Yeah.
But Clemson's defense, they forced 13 turnovers. They blocked 8 shots.
Yeah.
So they've been very solid on the defensive end, and they've been pretty good on the offensive end, particularly in the last few minutes of that first half and then all the way through the second half.
Batch draws the contact, and last touch can control Freeman off the. And then did he travel? No, whistle and foul. That'll be on DeVoe, his second foul on the Tigers.
And these are the numbers we're talking about. Look at that. 31% field goal shooting. 18% from the three-point arc. Wolfpack had turned it over 13 times. Clemson has scored 22 points as a result. You don't have to look very far to see what the key to this ball game has been.
So here is Freeman at the line after the foul on DeVoe. The first one good. Foul at 76% coming in. Averaged 10 points a season ago and had 7 double-figure games in Big 12 play for the Baylor Bears prior to the grad move to Raleigh. Now got 7 points, 5 rebounds.
And he played on a Baylor team that advanced to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
Yep. Grantham. Nice skip into the corner. Inside 7.5 to go, and Reed approaching 10 on the shot clock.
Looks like Clemson's going to try to spread them out and drive it.
Yep. Marquise rerouting on Beverly. Nice slip to DeVoe.
That's exactly what you want to do. You spread the court, you drive, and then you get close to the basket. The defense concentrates on the guy with the ball, and somebody finds an open spot.
3 off the mark for Freeman. Dorn can't finish. Thomas rebounds. Looping ahead. Grantham the catch. And the layup fell off the front rim. Freeman a spot up 3. And the rebound got knocked away. Batts.
Somebody's missing a shoe. Batts is one shoe.
So they got to get the Adidas slip back on. And they'll stop playing the half court and let LeVar Batts Jr. Got to get it laced back up. I'm not enough of a sneakerhead to tell you exactly what style Adidas LeVar's wearing there.
Well, the question is, though, here they're putting the ball in play up here at this hash mark.
Sure.
So how do you decide when to do that? You decide based on where a play occurred, but you decide you put the ball in play there because of where the shoe was when they blew the whistle?
Or where it was thrown from?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dorn and Roger Ayers a whistling foul. I think that's on Reed, and it is. First on the redshirt junior, Landover, Maryland, Marquise Reed. 6 on Clemson.
Now, it's interesting with a rule change this year when there's a defensive violation of some type down in the half court, you either put the ball in play at the hash mark that's out here by the coach's box, they call it the 28-foot mark, or the one that's down just outside of the lane. They call that the 3-foot mark. And so it looked to me like that shoe was in the area where you put it out on the 3-foot mark.
I'm with you on that.
But so I don't know. It depends on where the shoe was. Maybe the shoe was in a different place. Who knows?
Dorn is 5 of 6 at the line. He's got 7. And there's a backcourt foul on Freeman. That'll be his second. 7 now on State with 6:21 to go.
If you're North Carolina State, you really have to try to increase the defensive tempo. And so particularly if a guy like Freeman, who's not in any foul trouble, gets a foul trying to make a play, that's really not the worst thing in the world.
And
I think DeVoe's got some blood on his uniform.
That's exactly what happened. So they'll get Gabe DeVoe tidied up.
Now keep in mind, you don't have to come out of the game if you have blood on your uniform. What they do is
the trainer makes a decision as to whether it's saturated or not. And if he's a good free throw shooter, then the uniform certainly isn't saturated.
Look at that.
There you go.
It's not saturated.
There's nothing even there.
So DeVoe will get a couple of free throws.
We should get the sales department involved in this to see what kind of thing he used there and get them to advertise.
18-point game. Seems to me it might be something readily available at your local store. Free throw is good.
Even more reason to get the guys out there selling.
6:21 to go. Clemson, by the way, at BC Wednesday night, next Saturday high noon here against Louisville. NC State at Notre Dame Wednesday night. Host Duke next Saturday. Kevin Keats asked me a couple weeks ago, is that the way it is for everybody in their first year? Freeman on the drive.
And you told him no your first 10 years.
I said, well, Coach, he said, I've heard of no nights off, but that's ridiculous.
I think if you're coaching in the ACC, and in there, whether it's your first year or your 30th year, there's not any nights off.
No. Reed, nice spin, got into traffic and scored.
And that's the kind of thing that he can do. Makes him so difficult to guard.
He's now got 11.5 and 16 in the ball game. Does Marquise Reed. Beverly a catch and shoot. And DeVoe. Another rebound for Gabe DeVoe. He's got 7 of those with 15 points. Thomas out front as we approach 5 minutes to play.
Get the idea that Clemson has just worn down the Wolfpack here. They've just been relentless on both ends of the court.
Mitchell. That's a 2. It's a 2 for Shelton Mitchell.
And now the Tigers are playing with an awful lot of confidence.
21-point lead for Clemson.
Remember, Wes, you mentioned they started the game very slowly, did the Tigers, only making 4 of their first 17 shots.
Freeman a 3 and a timeout. That's the last one, I believe, for Kevin Keats. So that's 7.5 for Freeman. 12 in the ball game, his second 3 of the afternoon. Well, NC State at 10-3 and won 2 straight, 5 of 6 coming in, and find themselves down 18. Don't forget, we've got an ACC doubleheader for you on Wednesday. In fact, the Tigers will be featured there at the Chestnut Hill campus to meet Boston College, and then at 9 o'clock, Mike Cheminsky and I'll be at McCamish Pavilion from Miami and Georgia Tech. An ACC doubleheader on your regional sports network. Boy, Boston College put up a great fight today. Jerome Robinson, 29 in a 1-point loss at Virginia.
Well, and keep in mind that Boston College, they beat Duke earlier in the season. Don't forget that. So this is the Boston College team, 1-1 in the ACC, probably much better than people thought they were going to be before the start of the season. This becomes an extremely important game for the Clemson Tigers on Wednesday.
Well, no doubt. And BC, of course, 10-4 after the loss today. Notre Dame beat Georgia Tech by 9. The Jackets are 6-7 and still trying to kind of find their way, it seems like, in Josh Pastner's second year, and they'll get Miami. The Canes are leading at Pittsburgh this afternoon.
Well, I think it's been hard for the Yellow Jackets. They lost those couple of guys for a few games because of that NCAA violation, and that kind of thing is just very, very disruptive.
Ben Lammers has been hampered with a bit of an ankle injury, trying to work his way back to 100% as well. Backcourt pressure provided by State. We go under 5 to play, and Clemson's lead is 18.
And I don't think there's a team in the Atlantic Coast Conference that can recover easily from losing a player as important as Lammers is to Georgia Tech. And not losing him necessarily, but losing him at being at 100%.
DeVoe's short jumper no good. You're at 7. The rebound.
There's just not a lot of margin for error for anybody in this league. No.
Freeman on the drive. Thomas blocked that. And the loose ball finally pulled away.
It's been a tough day for Freeman. Clemson has put him in a position where he has forced an awful lot of shots.
17 attempts, just 4 hits for Al Freeman today. And DeVoe lost it into the Tiger bench on the errant pass. Well, turnover by Clemson. Just ahead of 4 minutes to go. They're 9th of the game.
Well, he threw it to Ramey Steins, and Ramey was open, but Ramey's officiating the game, and so that's not a good idea.
He promptly awarded it to the Pack. Beverly the shot, and the three for Braxton Beverly.
We're impressed with Beverly.
10.5, 15 in the ball game. His high school coach at Hargrave Military Academy, A.W. Hamilton, is one of Kevin Keats's assistants, with James Johnson, of course, who was at Miami the last couple of years, after a couple of years as the head guy at Virginia Tech, and Takeo Sinnel, who had an outstanding college career at Gardner-Webb and was with Coach Keats at UNC Wilmington. 15-point lead. Nice day for A.W. Hamilton. Dante Grantham played for him at Hargrave, and he was telling me yesterday at the practice he just loved Dante Grantham as a person, and not surprised at all with the college success he's had. That's a proud moment. A.W. here today to see Grantham get his 1,000-point honor before the ball. Inside, Thomas the dunk.
As you're talking about Grantham, and that was a perfect play by Grantham. He took the ball to exactly the correct spot, through the defense, and makes the great pass. Waits, yes, and now wide open is Thomas. Clemson in complete control.
Under 3 minutes to go, and time for today's Z-Max performance plays, and it's Clemson's defense, Dan.
Well, Clemson's defense has been outstanding. We mentioned they have forced 13 turnovers and converted those into 22 points. They only have 3 steals. It seems like they have more than that, but they've had 10 blocked shots, and they've converted some of those blocked shots into easy baskets. So for the Clemson Tigers, I think the defense kept them in it when they were shooting the ball so poorly early in the game. But there, you forced 13 turnovers, you had 10 blocked shots. It's hard for the other team to shoot a high percentage in those situations.
Elijah Thomas has got 6 of those blocks. That's a career high for the junior from Dallas. And State shooting a season low 32%. You saw at the bottom of the graphic as LeVar Batts knocks down his first field goal.
Thomas has those 6 block shots to go along with 8 points and 10 rebounds, despite the fact that he spent some time on the bench in foul trouble.
That's right. Got the 2 fouls with 1:57 to play in the first. Grantham, bounce pass. Thomas scores.
Grantham did. We just showed you a replay going out. Grantham did the same thing again.
4th double-double of the year for Elijah Thomas. And Freeman scores on the up and under. 14 for Al Freeman. Just ahead of 2 minutes to go. 13-point lead for the Tigers. Trying to win their 8th straight at home. And go to 12-1. Seven to shoot, and Reed goes to work. Skip for Mitchell's triple.
Clemson has done that a couple of times today. They work the ball to one side of the court, work it inside, force the defense to collapse on the inside, and then throw it over the top. That's an outstanding play.
Well, you see home teams won 69% of conference games last year, Dan. And off to a pretty good start this year, too. Tap follow, you're at 7. He's got 12 in the game on his 6th field goal. The 5 games played today, or the 6 games played this afternoon, looks like that Pittsburgh's going to become the first home team to lose in conference play to Miami. Throw in BC's win over Duke a couple of weeks ago. And the home teams have been dominant, at least here in the early stage. Reed, scoop, and couldn't get the roll. Thomas tried to rebound it off the miss. Batts with the high dribble. Fires through the lane. That got swatted away.
Thomas got it again, and he just said something to Batts.
Final half minute. The lead is 14. And NC State is going to come here to Clemson and shoot 35%. Here's Reed with 2 on the shot clock. It drops in. And inbounds, it'll come to Al Freeman. And as the horn sounds, the 2 is short. and Clemson is a winner. 78-62 the final. Brad Brownell's team, Dan, impressive, but very, very efficient defensively in the second half.
Well, I think their defense really set the tone when they couldn't get the ball to go in the basket early in the game. But in those last 6 or 7 minutes of the first half, they got rolling on that 13-2 run, and then they shot better than 50% from the field in the second half. 5 players in double figures, but their defense remained solid throughout the game.
NC State struggled to shoot the basketball. Clemson had a lot to do with that, but as we noted, there were a lot of missed chippies in this ball game, really, for both schools.
Well, there were missed shots close to the basket, but I will again make the statement that they weren't easy shots.
Yeah.
These teams, particularly Clemson, really contested the shots close to the goal, and we talked about the fact they had 11 blocked shots. Thomas himself had 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 blocked shots.
Right.
Despite the fact that he missed a lot of time with foul trouble. That's not a bad game.
All right, so what do we glean after this first big weekend of ACC play? We've talked about Clemson, obviously, better defensively. Weren't afraid to play guys early either, too, Brad Brownell.
It was interesting. In the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game, Brad Brownell played 10 guys, and I think maybe that helped his guys be fresh down the stretch in the first half, but they really got rolling in the second half. This is a Clemson team that it can be very effective offensively, particularly when they get the three-point shot going. And if they guard you like that and Thomas can stay out of foul trouble, they could be very dangerous in the conference.
NC State stays on the road. They're headed to Notre Dame. What do we think about the Wolfpack?
I think NC State is a team. Abu got in foul trouble today.
Right.
And I think that they were trying too hard to drive the ball to the basket with the intention of shooting it. Sometimes you get it in there, you draw the defense, you have to kick it out. I thought it was the right idea to drive the ball, but they just weren't very effective with it. I thought they took too many contested shot opportunities.
A lot of teams scoring the ball here in this first full weekend of ACC play, huh?
Well, I think it's very interesting that Duke-Florida State game, 100-93. An awful lot of points scored in that game, and Clemson, after a very slow start, they got to 78 today.
Well, Carolina scored 73. Notre Dame, Georgia Tech was in the 60s. And, of course, Virginia, 1-point game with Boston College. Here's a look at the stats. We told you 43%. Tigers hit 7 threes. That's below their average coming in. Only the 9 turnovers, Dan. That's a big difference. And look at the points in the paint today for Brad Brownell's team.
And most of those weren't like inside power moves. They were getting the ball down the court in transition, driving the ball to the goal.
Well, Tigers move on now. They'll be in Conti Forum at Boston College on Wednesday night, then Louisville back here at Littlejohn Coliseum next Saturday at noon. NC State's headed to Selby, South Bend, and then Duke visits PNC Arena next Saturday. Always great to be back in the ACC basketball season. Great to be with Dan Bonner for our opener today, and we saw an impressive performance. Clemson used a 13-2 run in the last 4 minutes of the half, led by 9 at the break. The Tigers go to 12-1 with a 78-62 win. Don't forget an ACC women's doubleheader tomorrow at 12:30, starting Coral Gables with Duke and Miami, and then on to Raleigh for Louisville and NC State. For our producer, Jay Hoover, our director, Lonnie Dale, and Dan Bonner, West Durham saying so long for Clemson. The Tigers are 78-62 winners, and you've been watching ACC basketball on your regional sports network.